Audio Jungle.
Hi there, flock members. Badraven here today. I am going to do a special thing for Halloween this month. I've never had a channel before when the Halloween was going on, so now I'm going to make an actual Halloween like marathon type review system with you to see all the movies in the Halloween collection that I've got. I've got a video on here of my deluxe box set of the Blu-rays, and I'm going to review from the worst to the best. So we're going to start out with the worst part of the set, which you can see is the Rob Zombie Halloween 2007. Yeah, I guess you already know that I don't really care for anything for this movie. But to do the whole set, I have to start with this one. So I hadn't watched this movie since probably back in 2007 when I'm not for sure if I went to the theater and watched it or if I watched it on video. I can't remember. But anyway, I know I just watched it one time and that was enough. And I'd had no intentions of ever even buying this video until I bought the collection, which was in the collection. And I like I said, I had to buy the whole collection and it was in it. So that's the absolutely only reason this movie I ever bought it. So when I decided to do the review all the movies in the set, unfortunately knew I had to review this one. So last night I sat down and said, well, maybe it's not as bad as I remember it. It was as bad as I remember it. They wanted to do a remake of Halloween. All the other remakes were being made from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they decided this one was ready and right for a remake. So they got a young director that was known for horror, Rob Zombie. I haven't really watched any of his other movies before this one, and I haven't really watched any since this one. So I don't know a lot about. I know Devil's Reject is one of them. House of a Thousand Corpses I've not watched. And a lot of reasons I haven't watched it because I had such a bad experience with Halloween 2007 here. They thought since he had made hits with those movies I just mentioned that the studio thought that he could, be good to have a new young person in there to start off with a reboot of this great classic. So they decided to, go ahead with this one. They got some very good actors, people I would normally think would do really well in this type of movie. They had Malcolm McDowell played Dr. Sam Loomis, and the guy that played Chucky's voice, Brad Dourif, plays Sheriff Brackett. Two good picks right off the bat. They had a big guy for Michael Myers, Tyler Mann. He played Michael after he was fully grown, and they had a young person play Michael when he was like 10 years old. And I can't pronounce his name. I'll just post it here, his name. The young Michael Myers and the older Michael Myers were at Scarefest last year when I went and saw Kane and all them, the video I put of the autograph stuff. I had no intention of getting these two's autograph. I'm not saying they're not good people and they've done other better things, but I hadn't, for Halloween, no, I didn't want them. To play the mother of Deborah Myers was Sherry Moon Zombie, which is Rob Zombie's wife. So, and she wasn't bad in the movie. She played a stripper. But anyway, she wasn't bad. She wasn't a bad actress or anything like that. Machete was in this. Danny Torino, he played Ismael Cruz, which was a security guard at the mental institution. So it was good to see him in it. Back then when I watched it, I didn't know really much about him. Machete and stuff was later on. But, it was good to see him. All right, to play the lead of Laurie Strode was Scott Taylor-Compton. And it was good to see Danielle Harris back in the Halloween movies. She played Annie Brackett, the sheriff's daughter, And Hannah Hall played Judith Myers, which was the sister that gets killed at the beginning of the movie. And this is spoilers because you got to be able to tell the spoiler. You got to be able to tell stuff in the movie. Then they had Linda was Christina Caleb. That rounds out the cast. Okay, I sat down yesterday, like I said, to give this movie another shot and because I had to review it for my Halloween special. I have these special videos coming out anyway, so I sat down and opened my mind and was going to try to really look at the movie for what it was, artistic and everything. Well, the opening didn't help out much. You know, at the beginning of the original Halloween, you got the theme playing, you got the pumpkin, it says Halloween on there, and it's just like, playing the music for Halloween. Really awesome. Well, this one starts out, of course, with the Dimension logo, Dimension Films. That's fine. New Line was the one putting these out. But when it showed the actual, it had like a quote from the Sam Lewis character about evil. And then when it showed the name Halloween, it just went boom. I mean, no music, no nothing, just boom. And that's kind of like represents the whole movie for me. It's just like in your face, loud, boom. I mean, it just was a bad start right there just with the title. I mean, how can you screw up the title of Halloween? Well, we open up to the nice home life of Michael Myers, and we get to see everything we've always wanted to see in a Halloween movie. How Michael grew up. Why did he get so twisted? Why was he such a psychotic killer? And after I met his parents, his stepdad, I guess, or boyfriend, I don't know which one he was in this one, but they show the house. It's run down. It's nasty. It's, just a white, trashy, disgusting mess. Every room looks like something has been thrown everywhere. It's very run down. You see that they're poor. I guess that's what he's trying to represent. And it seems like of all of his movies, he kind of got that same style. I've not watched them. I guess I shouldn't, say all of them since I've not watched all of his other movies. But what previews I've seen of his other movies, he likes this grungy, nasty, disgusting-looking look to his scenes. I don't know why. Maybe that's just his thing. It's his way of showing his art. But anyway, you see the house, bad shape. The mother's in there making eggs. The man character, the stepdad, whatever he is down there. They're having a great conversation between each other about him not working, and it's just like F this, F you, with each other. They're so in love, you can tell, which I know is showing that they're very dysfunctional. That's the key word, dysfunctional. Yeah, okay. These people ain't got any kind of function in them. They're just like loathy characters. And the sister comes down. She's, of course, the slutty, nasty, run around type. You see Michael's grown up with some great role models. So he's painting a picture of Michael's, reasons for his psychoticness, I guess. Well, Michael comes down, he's wearing a clown mask that he, in the original he wore to kill his sister, and he's wearing it around the house all day long, just like it's Halloween. He wants to cover up his ugliness, I guess, which he says later on in the movie. But you see him at the beginning of the movie playing with a rat, a pet rat he's got in a cage, and he gets the knife out, and then later on you see him cleaning blood off the knife before he comes down for breakfast, like all kids do. They like to kill animals, I guess, showing his penchant for, slaughtering things. He kills the rat somewhere off screen. At least we didn't get to see it, I guess. Of course, he has no good relationship with the stepdad. Stepdad hates him, thinks he's weird, thinks he's a girl, homosexual, whatever he thinks of Michael. They're constantly fussing and fighting, and they got the little baby there. There's a little baby. Presumably, Laurie Strode as a little girl. It looked like a boy to me for a long time. Then I figured out later it was supposed to be a young Laurie Strode in the family. It's screaming. The parents are screaming. Everything's just like crazy chaotic. And I don't know what it is with his type of filming. He likes which he wrote the screenplay for this. Rob Zombie did too, besides direct it. They talk over each other. They're constantly talking, and one's talking at the same time. There's gyrations. Like, it's just like they just can't. I don't know, it's just like an explosion of language and muscle movement. It's very bizarre how these characters interact with each other. It's constant craziness. Well, you see that Michael, he ends up going to school. You see that he's being bullied at school by a bully in the bathroom. And you see, by the way, I watched the unrated edition. I didn't know it was the unrated edition when I watched it, but it was like 11 minutes longer, and I'll get to why it's unrated. But he goes to school, and he's being bullied there, too. And so you see the kid's getting on every end. But he seems a little strange anyway, so I don't know if all that, plus, the stuff at home, is what makes him crazy or not. That they tried to explain that. He gets in trouble with the principal because the bullies are bullying him. Of course, he only stands up to the principal, so the principal takes him in and calls his parents. She, of course, comes down and cusses the principal out like most parents do. Just everything to cuss. You see supposed to be a younger Sam Loomis, and he comes in and it's basically Malcolm McDowell with like a wig on. It kind of looks like a hippie to me. And he's telling her they need to check out Michael because he's having traits of psychotic stuff, and that he's ready, he's going to become a bad kid. Of course, Michael runs off. He ends up tracking down the bully and killing the bully with a stick, and you see a graphic, killing him with smashing him with the sticks and stuff like that. So we get that great vision in her face, and he goes back home, and the mother's like talking to him later on, and then she's like got to go to her strip club because she's a stripper. She has to pay the bills, and stepdad's injured and can't go to work. It's a beautiful picture here. So the sister, Judith, Myers is supposed to take him out trick-or-treating on Halloween because it's Halloween. Her boyfriend comes over, and she pretty much says, screw you, and, I'm not, go trick-or-treating yourself. So that makes him mad, and he's outside in the front, and seeing all the other people trick-or-treating and everything, and I guess it just triggers him. When he goes into his psychotic rage, he just pulls the mask over his face. So we get into the part where, the beginning of John Carpenter's thing where he's getting ready to kill his sister. So in this one, we get another view of it because we already seen the first part of him going crazy, I guess. He goes in and gets the knife, of course, after he sits there and eats a bowl of candy. So I don't know if it's the candy made him psychotic or just his sister and his family. He goes in, the stepdad's in the living room, which we didn't have that in the original Carpenter, and he duct tapes him completely to the recliner. I mean, chest, arms, leg, and the guy stays asleep the whole time. So presumably he's on drugs for his broke fingers and hands or whatever. So I'll chalk that up to being totally out of it with drugs. So when he wakes up, Michael Myers, of course, slits his throat. We get a scene of that. Well, after that, we see Judith upstairs with her boyfriend, and from the original what's going on there. The guy that comes over, Judith's boyfriend, brings a mask with him because it's Halloween. So we get the mask of Michael Myers. Can you believe it? At least Rob Zombie did get a mask that looked like the original Michael Myers. I can't say for some sequels. So that places the mask there. In the original Halloween, he kills his sister, with a clown mask on. Well, no, he gets to put on the original one. He's like a 10-year-old with a full Michael Myers mask on. It still looks stupid walking around with it. Looks like a grown man's head of Michael Myers in a little kid's body. But beside the point, I'm getting off on tangents here. Of course, the boyfriend goes down after doing his business with Judith to the kitchen to get something to eat, and Michael waylays him with a bat. Kills him, crushes his skull. Great family fun. So he goes back up, gets the sister in the red room, and she thinks it's her boyfriend, and he decides to like stab her multiple times, and she tries to crawl away from him, and he tracks her down and finishes her off. So when the mother comes home, he's sitting out on the curb. Looks like nothing's ever happened. To him, nothing did happen. Like he must have flipped out or something. So they take him away. They put him in the insane asylum, and Dr. Loomis has to keep checking on him and, be his doctor and all that. And some parts of this, you could see some directorial skills by Rob Zombie. You can see he's like doing like a black and white little video of his little interactions with Michael, showing how Michael creates masks and everything like that to cover his face, cover his ugliness, as he said. He's showing how he's going insane, slowly going insane, and coming away from the public and everything. And Michael doesn't understand anything happened to him. He thinks his sister and all them still alive. Well, this movie is kind of slow and it's very methodically. I mean, it's the way it's edited and stuff, and the way the storyline goes, it just takes a while to get going. Needless to say, he grows up in there and he becomes this big, incredible Hulk, 7 foot tall or whatever, at least 6'10", massive, looks like a wrestler type guy with long hair and everything. And he, of course, stays in this room and makes his whole room full of masks. And everybody there at the crazy house is nutty as him. I mean, not nutty, but there's most disgusting human filth running the place as he is. It's like everybody in this movie is like the most horrible person inside and out. I don't know what it is, if he's wanting everybody to be mixed together like that, but it's just most horrible people you ever want to meet. So the part I watched was in the unrated edition. One of the not the machete guy, but he is getting ready to retire, and he's like showing this new rookie at the crazy house the ropes, So later on, you see the rookie guy come back to the place later on, a few months later. He's got his cousin with him or something, and this part they actually get a girl and they take her to Michael's room. I think it's a good idea to go in there and take advantage of her in front of Michael. Of course, Michael freaks out, kills all of them in the most graphic way he can, and leaves and takes off walking the 100 miles away from Haddonfield. Just happens to find a truck driver that has the same clothes, size, and kills him and gets his trademark jumpsuit, whatever you want to call it, so he can be just like the Halloween. The original Halloween. Now we jump into the part that's just like John Carpenter's. We got the girls, you got Lori, you got Lori's parents, you got the sheriff, you got the sheriff's daughter, all of them in there. And like this part, you can tell the total difference. If he was the one that shot this before, if John Carpenter had never done this movie and Rob Zombie could go back in time and be the person that done it, this was what we'd get, and it would have not been a classic, believe me. And this is where we meet Lori coming downstairs to her parents. The parents look like nice people. Got Dee Wallace playing her mother, and she's got a dad that looks like a businessman, a nice home, everything. Here comes Lori bouncing down the steps, and she starts talking about something about somebody, teacher, being inappropriate, touching her inappropriately like a joke. And then she starts that gyration I'll tell you about they do in this movie. She's, the silly little laugh and just grabbing her mom and all this sexual talk. And like, it's just like supposed to be funny, or she's supposed to be kidding her mom. And I don't know. It's like, and their mom's talking over top of her. She's talking. It's just Rob Zombie way of filming or writing or something. I don't know. I just really, it was bizarre. It happens several times. But anyway, she goes off to school and she meets up with her friends at school, and they're just like her. They're all hyped up. And I've never seen a group of girls. I'm not a girl, so I don't know exactly how to say this. But I've never seen a group of girls talk as nasty and about boys and stuff as guys used to. I mean, when we got a bunch of guys get together, we have a tendency to talk when we were younger, when we were teenagers, to say bad things about this or that, about girls and stuff when we were together. Well, these girls are like a bunch of guys, teenage guys. And I know they're teenage girls, and they're supposed to be that way. But I've never seen this type of stuff that they do. As most girls are not as sexually, I don't know what you say, sexually crazy as that. She's with them. They're all talking over top of each other, doing their gyrations, and you see Michael in the background down outside. Basically the same scenes that John Carpenter did, just done very poorly. With camera work and everything, and you see the Tommy Doyle character. You see everything sets up the same. But you get a little twist in there every once in a while. Like, some reason, the Linda character, the one played by PJ Souls, it's like, instead of going with her boyfriend to have sex in Annie's, instead of going to Annie's house like in the original, and the Linda character going over there, they go to the old Myers house. It's all boarded up, and don't know if they're just doing that where nobody can see them. Throw a blanket on the floor. See, Michael, he goes back to that house earlier, breaks down a place in the floor and gets his knife and his mask that's been in the floor for years. I don't know if when he killed his sister, if he took a hammer or something and pulled up all the floorboards and then put all this in there and then nailed them all back down nicely, because you can't even see where he's made a hole to put this in. He just like busts the hole to the floor and gets his knife and his mask. So anyway, they're over there, the Linda character and her boyfriend, and they're doing their thing. This exact same thing he does in the Carpenter. He puts the sheet over his head from the boyfriend after he kills the boyfriend, Michael Myers does. Comes up there, but we get a lot more nudity. I guess he thinks since, he's in control, he's going to do her. But just full frontal on her. On this is the unrated edition, so I don't know what they showed the full frontal of the Linda character and the theatrical or not. But also, there's a part where Laurie goes over to check on Annie because Annie is not answering the phone or something in the movie. And when she walks in, she sees Annie laying in a pool of blood, played by Daniel Harris, and her boyfriend hung up in front of the steps. And she's like screaming, "Oh, Annie, you okay?" See, in this one, Annie survives. She's not like in the original Halloween where she's killed off. She's laying there in a pool of her own blood, waist up, naked, and she's stabbed all to pieces, but she's still alive. So Laurie is trying her best to help her. So she runs to the other room to call the police. When she runs to the other room, the door closes, and she doesn't see that Michael's been standing behind the door the whole time. So Michael's walking around, and he's got the dead boyfriend hanging from the steps, and he's like moving him around and looking at him. All this time, Annie's laying on the ground looking and seeing him there, and Laurie doesn't know he's in there, in the house. So she's still calling the police until the police come here, and she gets the call through, but all Annie will do is go, "Laurie! Laurie!" Just screaming Laurie out the top of her breath. And I know she's been through a traumatic moment. She's been stabbed. She's probably almost dead. But couldn't she at least said to Laurie, "He's in the house. He's in here with me right now." At least Laurie could have left, went out the back door, or came in there and tried to help her. So she's just screaming. All she's screaming is Laurie, Annie is. And it's just ridiculous. I'm like, and at the end of it, she's like, shoots Michael in the face, and the blood blows up on her face. And she's got blood like all over her mouth, her eyes, and she's just screaming at the top of her lungs. And the camera is doing freaky angles and goes up into her face, and it goes off. So it's just bad movie making. This is the actual disc art and stuff for the set of the Blu-ray set that I bought. I showed you it in my other video I got on my channel. And the artwork's, pretty well, looks good to me. I mean, I have nothing wrong with the artwork. I like the way it uses scenes from the movie to make up his mask, and he's standing there and everything. It's cool, that's the front. And the spine and the back. Inside, you got, like I said, you got the theatrical cut and the special edition. The director's cut, whatever you want to call it, in there. So it's cool the way they preserved it. I like the way they did that. But even though the movie was horrible. If you liked it, leave a comment. I mean, you may think Rob Zombie is the greatest director of all time. I don't see that. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, and I will listen to your opinion. I just did not like it on every level a movie could be made from beginning to end. It was just not good for me. Only reason I have it is because it's in the collection. I have no desire to watch it again after this, even any reason whatsoever. You can leave a comment and tell me what you think about it. I'm going to do, and like I said, I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to do the second part of this one, unfortunately, I have to do. And then I'm going to go backwards through the originals, and then on close to Halloween, I'll release the final Halloween one. It's the John Carpenter original. But I'm going to try to release a couple a week before Halloween so we can get them all caught up and then save the best for last review. So be looking forward to that on my channel because it's coming. And I just want to say, remember the Badraven is your friend. And I thank you all for watching, and I'll let you go, and goodbye.